world wakes up, a brand new stage, new promise written on the page. We saw the cracks, turned a new age, tore up the script, got out the cage. Dig deep, they can't be stopped. A solid truth that can't be topped. For every voice they try to drop, we rise up higher from the crowd.
It's just the beginning.
Well, welcome all of you nesters. Welcome back. I'm excited to be here on this beautiful Tuesday, June the 2nd. And tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. Not because we have answers, but because we have questions. And sometimes the most important investigations begin with a question, not a conclusion, not a narrative, not even a theory, a question. Tonight, we're going to be talking about one of the most debated subjects in the entire Idaho 4 case, the audio, the sounds, the voices, the noise people claim they hear, the noises people claim they don't hear, and the endless attempts to clean up, enhance, isolate, filter, slow down, speed up, and decode the audio from 1112 balcony security cam. Now, before we begin, important disclaimer. Nothing tonight is being presented as fact. Nothing tonight is being presented as proof. We're discussing possibilities, observations, human perceptions, and the danger of believing we hear something simply because someone else told us what we're supposed to hear, because it happens more than people realize. So chat, let me ask you one question. How many of you have listened to the Linda Lane audio? At least one for yes, 2 for no. How many have you listened to the Linda Lane audio at least once? Yes, a 1, or 2 for no. Because this is important. Linda Lane audio is very important, but I believe humbly, in my opinion, it's about 10 minutes off. And I'm going to prove to you that tonight. But also, with talking about the elephant in the room, audio's tricky, extremely tricky. You could hear something that I hear totally separate. And verifying what we hear is very important in this case. We don't want to spew rumors. We don't want to spew, we're not here to harm anyone. We're here to understand the Idaho 4 case, how they got from it was a shooting. No, it was a stabbing, it was a love triangle, it was a crime of passion, to now we understand in the house there may have been some type of firearms used in this crime. And I don't know what the link is with Brian Koberger. I don't know what that new Crime Con video with Steve G was about all these mass shootings at school. Kaylee was shot up. Now, people have been calling this girl Kayla. Is Kaylee's real name Kayla? It's not the first time I've heard this name. Other people act like they don't even know who Kaylee was. But yet Samantha, Steve's daughter, was told to hush up. And in several interactions with Samantha, Steve's daughter, his biological daughter, she called Kaylee Kayla to me. Of course, I deep dive and found out that it might be her real name is Kayla. Now, this is pure speculation based on what she said, but I've done my homework. And at the end of the day, I can confirmly and confidently say that just by chance, Kaylee's name is actually Kayla. Kaylee's real name may be Kayla. And like people have real long names, right? We do. And sometimes they call us by the middle name, a nickname, a cute little short name. But I do my homework and I bring facts and receipts. And we are just going to have a really good show today. So if you have not hit the thumbs up button, please do show. Please do so, not show. Now, I know that we probably listened to this Linda Lane so many times. That's not what we're going to do today. But 2:36, the reckoning time. I talked yesterday, first of the month. It is reckoning month. It is reckoning time. It is time for the truth to be exposed. Little by little by little, day by day, we're seeing truth exposed. Now, I want to just tell you one thing real quick. I am updating Justice for All. That's Justice FOURALL. And I'll drop the link below. JUSTICE for FOURALL.com. I am updating that for very important reasons. And I'm going to drop a lot of fireballs. That doesn't mean I'm going to give you the little fireball video, but just in case you don't know, tomorrow, I need to change this. Let me update this. My show is live on the spot, real content. Not much is planned except for if I have something to show you, like on Freedom Fridays. But tomorrow, I am having a live shocking call and content for members only. And I just changed it to members only. Now, there is some shocking content I'm going to show you about the Idaho 4 that I do have proof of. And I have found it on my own. No one has told me. No one has given me any heads up. I have indeed found this on my own, and it will be available for members only, and I will have a members only call in. It is going to shock your socks off. Spread the word. This is going to be huge. Something that you never have seen ever before in the Idaho 4 case that will enlighten you. Putting it public. I really did thought about leaving it on public, but I've changed it to private only because this content is so shocking. I don't want it out there in the public realm, but I know that there are more people in here probably spying, and you're very good spies because you all have stopped spamming and trolling, and I'm very proud of you all. But this content is very shocking, and I am putting a disclaimer out there. I'm putting it out there all today up to 24 hours tomorrow at 11:11. It will be members only, and you're going to see some stuff that may give warning and caution before I show you. I just want you to know this. I'm giving you a 24-hour heads up. I'm going to put it publicly on my post. I'm going to post it a couple of other different social media. I want everyone to know that this has shocking content. I'm not doing it for the shock value. I'm doing it for the proof value, the evidence, the factual evidence. Now, I don't know how many of you really enjoy my new song of the month. And yeah, it will have trigger warnings for sure. I don't know if you all love this new beat, this tune, this upbeat. Yes, the house of cards is falling, but I will say I have hidden a little fireball in the new video. Has anyone caught it yet? Post it below what your thoughts are on the new intro video. I have post Easter eggs in this video. And if you know, then you know that I'm not playing games. Phoenix don't play around. I might get feisty. I might get a little entertaining. We might get a little bit of comical, but I'm telling you, bringing the real deal is not something easy when people want to entertain you all freaking day long. Okay? Now, there is a hidden Easter egg. Has anyone seen it? Comment below. I'll give you guys a few minutes while I welcome you in. If you have to go out and replay it and then comment, cool. Hit the thumbs up. Caleb, welcome in. Good to see ya. Oh, let's pregame. Tick, tick, tick. How many people were here so early? Woo, like 10, 15 minutes early. We're having a tailgating party. Anyone can join. No talking before coffee. Good to see you. 5-minute warning. Barbecue. Ooh, barbecue sounds so delicious. But you know what? I have a roast on defrost. It's defrosting, and it's hot outside today. I think we're going to get to 105 maybe. But I am going to do a roast in my Dutch oven, and I'm going to just shred the heck out of it. And I'm going to do a barbecued roasted beef sandwich for dinner. No beer, Peony. We don't drink beer in this house, baby. We don't even drink alcohol. I think the closest you're going to get is sourdough fermented in the fridge. All real and raw here. Hello, Munson, Rebecca. Good to see you. Angelica. Good to see you, Nona. Hello. It reminds me of salt and pepper. Oh, nice. Good morning, Lola Garcia. Hola. Hola. Good afternoon, D. Garrison. True to it. Good to see you listening and driving. Please be safe. Ready for another awesome live. Me too. Are you guys ready? Legal swag. Good to see you. Busted. I'll be back after all this. Okay, sounds good. Please be careful when you're driving, folks. Not to sound like a broken record on PSA, but just be careful. I'll put a good word to clear the highway because you are on the road. So sweet, Lulu Bell. Good to see you too. Good morning. Emperor, new clothes Tuesday. Good morning to see you. Yes, Tuesday. We made it to Tuesday. A lot of people have listened to this audio. I'm doing much better. My work day is almost over. Good to see you, Inked Mama. Woo, Michelle, welcome in. Hunter J called her Kayla. Bing, 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 bing. You are spot on. I believe her nickname, real name, I think it's a real name, is Kayla. Is Kayla, I should say, is. Let me see. Best stream with the best people. We have the best chat on the internet. I like our little close-knit, tight-knit family. Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Donna Rosa, good to see you. Living Dead Girl, good to see you. Real Eyes Analyze, don't we? Munson says The Dark Hour. Fireball Moments. Justice for All. That is the website I'm updating. And yes, welcome in every single one of you. Hey, Brenda, good to see you. So let's see. We have a lot of peepers from Idaho on here. Now, do we have anybody from Idaho on here? Drop a 1. Our map is being updated to add in North Dakota and New Mexico. And I think we are just about done. Hey, baby. Where's Daddy? Where's Daddy? Where's Daddy? Go find Daddy. Okay. My little guy just pushed my door open and bam. Let me just take a peek. Heads up, man hands, aces, and e-gifts. Oh, my mom and I made sourdough from scratch yesterday. It was the first time it actually cooked and came out perfect. Woo! Good job. My brains are scrambled for today. All right. Thanks, baby. Okay, my door is now shut. All right, let's get going. Yeah, he called his daughter adopted. What was up with that? I I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's had another daughter, Sam. Uh did I don't know what the whole thing with that is. I don't want to get that personal, but I know that Sam has been asked to be quiet. We know the background on Steve. It's kind of wishy-washy. Now he says he has some backing for this IGG venture. Interesting things that they are saying. The G family are giving hints here and there, and they ain't finished getting justice. Demoose, thank you. I do believe this 100% with my whole heart after seeing some of the things that I've seen. Either they know that Brian Koberger is not guilty, and they are trying to find the real perpetrators through the foundation that they're doing now, and they may get access to that information. I don't know how, not even through a civil court. They would need some type of court order to hand over the DNA. But remember, the DNA was in the fridge and it was broken. Or they have to sue the state and get the DNA from the ISP. Even though they have those reports, I don't know how they would get the data and the DNA from the fridge that was damaged, missing, replaced. Samples were disposed of. I don't know. They said about hair DNA, and you're right, Phoenix. But they have to track down who has that hair DNA. They have to track it down. And that could be a whole legal battle in itself, Demoose. But I do believe this family was wronged somewhere along the line with not getting the proper information. That's why they hired an attorney. That's why they hired a private investigator. That is why they are trying to seek justice. But they can't just come out and say, we know Brian Koberger is innocent. We know. But Steve has said, I pretty much don't like that dude, the DA. I don't like Thompson. But you know what? This is unacceptable. Hearing him threaten Koberger is unacceptable. Hearing him threaten another human being is unacceptable, especially the spokesperson talking on behalf of Kaylee. I don't think Kaylee would want her dad to be threatening somebody, because if something happens to Koberger, who are they going to point the fingers at except for Steve G, right? Now, has anybody, you're going to point the finger at the person who made the biggest threat. Now, that's my humble opinion. But we're going to go back. I planted an Easter egg. I planted a couple of them in the new video. And let's do this. Let's watch it again. And I'm going to give you guys a second chance to see it. All right? I'm going to give you a second chance, and then I want you to drop in the comment, what's the Easter egg? Here we go. Let's replay it.
Yeah, you see it? It's all coming down. Let's go. The world wakes up, a brand new stage, new promise, written on the page. We saw the cracks, turned a new age, tore up the script, got out the cage. dig deep, they can't be stopped. A solid truth that can't be topped. For every voice they try to drop, we rise up higher from the crowd.
All right. So has anybody caught it yet? I know Caleb said DM and BF as cards. I know you caught that one. But today we're going to talk about this one right here in front of us, okay? Let's get to it because this is really important. Why is this important? The G's shouldn't talk under the influence of alcohol. Allegedly, loose lips sink ships. That's an old Navy term. Loose lips sink ships. Yeah, you're in Vegas. Great. You're having a great time. You're going to be drinking and playing cards and doing whatever, even at a conference. But you know what? Loose lips sink ships. Steve G said Brian is from the city. Ha ha. Did you get that? Steve G said Brian is from the city. In the interview yesterday, we're going to break it down a little bit more. We're going to break it down because I caught so many things in that interview that we did not talk about yesterday. So many things. It is wild. DM and BF are either directly involved or they were made to shut up. I personally think they were made to clean up. Whew. 3 a.m. the timeline challenged. Phoenix, the other day when you did your 6-hour live and was playing the 11 o'clock hour and said, I hear Steve, no. If you remember way back when 911 was released, you could hear and say, Steve, no, no, no. And I've always thought that was geared towards Steve Jr. because Steve Jr. was at the frat. And even though he wasn't part of the frats involved, he was in college there, another part of the frat, Greek life. And yes, I believe Steve Jr. may have been there. I don't know about Steve Sr. I don't know. I don't know if Steve Jr. called Steve Sr. or Steve Jr. knew about the 9-10 o'clock hour and they drove out there because immediately, don't you think, and let me just ask this question while we're on the subject. Don't you think that as a parent, if you've heard this from just some type of rumor or some other people in the college, don't you think that as a parent, you would immediately get in your car and drive out there? They lived, what, an hour and a half away? That would give them 2 hours. So if this was floating around at 9 o'clock in the morning, say, per Lyndon Beck, and by 11 o'clock that you have arrived from Rathdrum all the way to Moscow, I mean, let's just take a little field trip. Let's go and validate and see if this theory would be correct. So let's go to Google Maps. And if you are new to the stream, we are all live. Nothing is scripted. If we get a thought in our head, we drop it below. We go and do. So let's just do Rathdrum. I mean, they have their address right on their Facebook page, folks. So let's do Rathdrum to 1122. And this is a possibility. It's either Steve or Steve Jr. This is just one of those speculations. Let me put this up on the screen for you to see this. So Rathdrum to, let me make this a little larger. Rathdrum all the way, let me see, 35. Let me see if we're driving. An hour and 53 minutes. If they heard at 9 a.m., just hypothetically, if they heard at 9 a.m., they'd get in their car, drive down the Post Falls, past Hayden, all the way to Rockford, Dakota, all the way down Potlatch, Palouse, and into Moscow. Almost 2 hours, an hour and 54 minutes. Now, as a father hearing something like this, if it was me, I would be driving at least 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit on the highways, or even faster. Okay, even faster. And I would probably get there, say, an hour and a half. Just speculating. All right, we're just speculating. So a dad who was concerned, a mom who was concerned, I wouldn't just sit around. I would definitely get in my vehicle and I would be Johnny on the spot. All right. I think it was the real or practice 911. Now, the 911 that was released, the 911 that was officially released has been released where? Does anybody know? I've never seen the official release from Whitcomb. Never. It's mentioned in the court records, but I have never seen anyone release the real one. And I'm just saying this because a lot of video, a lot of audio has been leaked in this case. I don't know who the leak is, but JD admitted just last week he got the security cam from the people that were staying there at 1112. How convenient. So who leaked the 911 call or a version of it? Don't know. I don't think we've still heard the original. Yeah, Steve Jr. was with Alpha Kappa Lambda. I have a screenshot of that. Don't you all feel the students interviewed seem to always talk in riddles, deliberately trying to confuse? Absolutely. Confusion is the best practice to never get the truth. If you confuse enough people, maybe they can't see through the deception. Some people do. Absolutely. The same frat as Saeed and the three fats running on the band field. Abso-freaking-lutely. You got it. Realize, analyze. We need to have you up here one day and chit chat again. I would love to know what vehicle every family member drove. And remember, the investigators were trying to get someone to spill the beans. That specific investigator, Van Leuven, was asking for what type of vehicle some of these parents have. That was a specific question. Nothing would stop me from getting there either. No talkie before coffee. I would be Johnny on the spot. I would lose it if SG ended up being one of those many vehicles that was said on SV1. Well, you know, the 1112 security cam released all the way up into those early hours of the morning. Does anybody know what Steve G drove? Anybody at all? Because I'm curious to go over that security camera again. I have a list of all these cars that peel out and leave early that morning. I'm sure police have a list, right? In my humble opinion, Steve was there doing damage control and taking charge to get order to a chaotic scene and making sure no information was let out. Lulu Bell, that makes sense if he was on the scene, if speculative, of course, alleged. If he was on the scene, he would be the guy to do it, and he would be the guy to put, allegedly, him in front of a camera. I believe hearing it. No, Steve. Whether it's Steve Jr., because they knew that maybe Kaylee was in there. Absolutely. We know he had a white Elantra. Now, how do we know he had a white Elantra? Because in JD's statement, in his interview, he says clearly that it was a Volkswagen and it was parked out front. So is it a white Elantra or is it the Volkswagen? Don't know. I think that one is just going to have to be speculative. Until we actually know and have seen registrations, we have seen pictures, documentation, this is all just pure speculation. But little bits and pieces of the puzzle are coming back in play. Now let's go back. So, all right, this statement blew me away the other day. I remember seeing the statement, went back over my notes this last weekend. I had a very relaxing time this weekend doing some self-care, self-love, using my infrared light on my face. And I could show you that picture on Freedom Friday. I think we're going to have a lot of behind the scenes on Freedom Fridays. So I'll share some of that with you. Now, this statement has always stuck out in my mind. And this just happens to be a report of a young person in college giving a lot of the how do I want to say this? Information away. And the key wording in this document was football. Football. It's reckoning time, folks. We're talking about keywords in the IDAHO4 case that give us a little insight, a little clue as to what was going on. Something seemed to happen that a witness came forward and basically said that, hey, there was the football game in play that weekend. Let me see if I can make this a little larger. There we go. I remember when the 911 call was released that a lot of people were claiming to hear SG in the background. Yes, we heard very clearly Dylan called out, no, 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 Steve. And we heard it. Those are the early days on Birdie. We talked about that in detail. Now, what I will say is this young woman recalled visiting Xana's old apartment that year because she was close friends with someone else that lived next door. And she said that, Xana moved out of that apartment because it was too partyish. Too much stuff was going on. And if you know that Emily Allant was Kernodle, Xana, really good friend, and it says that she lived next door. She described Blank and Kernoodle having a close friendship. Well, the only person that I know as a female that was close to Xana was indeed Emily more than anyone else, because when Emily was asked who was her best friend, she said Xana. Okay? And Emily Allant even admits it in a documentary on Amazon. Now, if you think back and you look at this statement, she stated Blank was no longer at the university because she graduated last year. Who graduated last year? I still haven't found that out. I thought it was Ashlyn. However, Blank could have been sent a text about the night of the homicide. The text was a screenshot describing two. Now, this is what blew me away. I had this in my notes and I thought, wait a minute. This makes sense. This witness they interviewed knows what happened 100%, because we didn't get all these photos. We didn't get all these crime scene documents and photos until after Brian Koberger pled guilty to the crime that he may not even have committed. Yes, folks, I still believe this until someone shows me the evidence. All right. We didn't even know that these rooms were possibly ransacked. All right. I said this in the early beginning when I saw Bethany's room. There is no freaking way this girl was hiding out in this room. There's no way. It looks like this room was freaking ransacked. After we got the pictures of this room ransacked, what did this witness clearly say? The text was a screenshot describing two of the other roommates locking their doors because they heard someone rummaging around. Now, let me read this one more time. She had a text, was a screenshot describing two of the other roommates locking their doors because they heard someone rummaging around. Who was in the house that night rummaging around looking for what? Did they think that maybe someone stole something from someone? Did someone take something that didn't belong to them, and not a female or male? An item. A specific item. Were they looking for a USB card? Were they looking for a camera or phone? Were they looking for something of value that someone found out about someone in that house being a CI, and they had information? Now, I'm not going to say it was money or drugs, Michelle. We can speculate. We can speculate. We know that Kaylee sold her car and bought a Range Rover. We know that Dylan invited her back. Is it possible that they found out that Kayla was an informant? Is it possible they were looking for maybe gigabytes or even terabytes of data of proof? Now, the only reason why I speculate this is because Kaylee, was said to be dating several guys from the frats. Like, she was like going out with these guys, right? Everyone knew Kaylee. Everyone knew Kaylee, but no one wants to talk about Kaylee. Why is that? Why is that? Now, data is the new age currency, cryptocurrency. Was somebody being extorted? Maybe because they did put extortion on there. They had seriously warrant out for Brian Koberger cryptocurrency. They wanted to know if he had any crypto accounts. They wanted to see if maybe he was being extorted or maybe there was some type of extortion involved in this case, allegedly. At this point, because we've not been told the truth at all and we're finding it out all on our own, there is so much more to this. So much more. Bigger, that requires national security. Did they find a way to skim cryptocurrency? Did they find a way to access people's crypto wallets or steal crypto wallets? I mean, we're talking about kids that went to this college that are in fraternities that have very influential family members. Very. Now, I'm not saying all this happened. We're speculating, of course, but let's read a little bit more about this, and then I'm going to get into the video that I have prepped. So then they said, the detailed day of November 12th, the university Idaho football team was having a senior night. This was a big game and many people attended. Now, all these people were said to go to the football game. There were many students pre-gaming before the game. She was not certain, but we assumed all the victims attended the game. Now, let the chips fall where they may. We know from yesterday, Steve G is a big football fan. He was home watching the football when they came and sent a Latah County sheriff, a Kootenai County sheriff to the door to tell him that Kaylee had passed. And I did request that video cam, if they had the video cam on, of the officer going to the door, or the sheriff, and telling him that their daughter had passed and that Maddie had passed also. They didn't tell Maddie's family, but they told Steve G, which is really wild. But Steve G said at CrimeCon, oh yeah, Arizona, they got a good football team. So could it be possibly that Steve G was at the football game that night? Could they have possibly been to the football game? Were they in town? Did they have an RV trailer? Were they tailgating? Were they partying with all the other alumni? Because Steve G did say on his LinkedIn that he was a graduate of U of I and a self-made multimillionaire. It always boggled me why they had a GoFundMe. Always boggled me. Free money? Hey, let's do it. Allegedly. Now, the rumor, Tommy Jude, before he passed, did say that he made up that rumor. Now, I don't know if it was true or not, but he did admit before he passed on that that was a rumor, and that, unfortunately, before he passed, he did say he made it up. Now, if it's true, and he had an inkling of something like this, well, more power to Tommy. Rest in peace. Good catch, P. Dylan and Bethany's room look rummaged through, didn't they? At first, I thought, why would they be moving so fast? It wasn't them. They hid in the spare bedroom, or they were put in the spare bedroom because they were going through their rooms. Who was going through their room? What were they looking for? You don't just go over to someone's house with a backpack, allegedly filled with things that could harm someone, like a kill kit, and go and ransack their bedrooms while they're in them. You put them somewhere else. And I think they were put in the spare bedroom. And that, my friends, is that assessment of where Dylan and Bethany could have been held. And remember, I did mention maybe this was some type of hostage situation. Could it have been? Just speculating. Someone was there for something. Absolutely. The Linda Lane footage audio, you hear a guy and a girl being questioned by a female, then another female, and then another no, I don't have them. Absolutely. I know what I heard. I know what I see. I know what I read. I know what I hear in court. I know what I heard at hearings. And they all acted like they didn't know Kaylee. Were they ashamed of knowing Kaylee? I don't know. But if Kaylee was the CI, if she was the informant, if she was in fact an agent of someone, of something, then in my humble opinion, she would have to know everybody. They wouldn't have to know her, but she would have to be so embedded in a situation that no one could really know her, if you know what I mean. And it does make sense when you start thinking outside and you start asking the unthinkable questions. Well, it was said that Gunderson went into Kaylee's room and took something out of her room and put it in his pocket. I'm the one that noticed in the mirror somebody went inside that room. I caught it. I shared it. I'm like, why were they hiding and why did that guy go in the room? I can go and grab the video. I mean, it's right under Law and Crime Idaho 4. Let's take a peek at it. Because I remember when I saw that, I was baffled. What were they hiding? What was going on? There has to be something else to it. And I caught him in.
Upstairs.
I'm going to go on the fly. It's in there upstairs.
3170.
Walk you through the room. Hold on.
Thanks for.
Hold on tight, guys. I don't know if it's on Gunderson or it's on this one. You got to play it super slow. They black it out. You got to look in the mirror. See, I hate that noise. You got to look in the mirror. And he sneaks into the room. I don't know if it's on this one. There he is right there. And you can see him sneak into the room. That's the mirror. It's showing the opposite bedroom. And he goes into that room as Gunderson is standing there guarding and stopping the guy coming up. There's Gunderson. That was Snyder and I think Walters. He's directing people to go do whatever before he comes up. No gloves, Gunderson. He almost touched where the blood was on that stairwell. Almost. Let me see if it goes back up. That guy's got a glove. That guy's got a glove. You get a glove and you get a glove. You got to pay close attention to the guy in the mirror right here. He's going to sneak in there. Bingo, bango. He goes in that room. We can't not stop watching the truth. and he comes out of that room. Yeah, I made a video on the TikTok streets back in the days. He comes out of that room. Dude, I know that Gunderson just didn't give birth to this 6'5", whatever, 6'1" guy, 200 and maybe 80 pounds. He comes out of Kaylee's room, goes in. They try to block it, but you see his foot in the mirror over here all the way to the right side of the screen. He goes inside that room. He tries to redact it, double back. You can see his right in between his elbow here in this little circle. You see his full body going into the room. I don't know what they tried to hide, but we see part of it. We know that I wish we could get that guy's body cam. I wonder if anyone's asked for his body cam. Of course, they won't show it going in the room. They'll probably redact it the same way they redacted this. But we know that that guy went into Kayla, whatever you want to call her. I'm going to just start calling her Kay for right now because we really don't know what her real name is. But he does step into her room and then he comes back out. Gunderson is right there and he just pops out of nowhere. I know that Gunderson didn't just give birth to this big guy. There's no way. That mirror right there tells the truth. That mirror hanging right there where the girls would get ready and make sure they looked all cute before they went out tells the truth. They redact the guy walking out of her room and bam, they think he's in the clear. Gunderson's right there. The guy pops out of the room. And there he is walking out of the room. They blurred the cop's face. If you caught that, you can go back and play it a lot slower. Wild stuff that happens in Idaho, folks. Wild. Okay, so do this. Yeah, and you know what? Remember last week I showed you the Ann Taylor clip of her telling, Your Honor, we need this evidence. We need all the training records for all these officers. And what happens when you ask for training records? You're able to go back and see what they're certified to do, what they've been trained in, if there's any other background cases, any problems, information. They wanted to know Gunderson's background. And boy, we could go and we could talk about Gunderson all day long, but where is that going to get us? Nowhere closer to the truth. Has he come out and talked? No. Nope. All right. So going back to this, and we kind of got, all right, going back to this, let's read the rest of this. The big game, obviously, many people attended. There were many students pre-gaming before the game. She was not certain, but assumed all the victims went to this game. How about all the family members? Did they party? Did they tailgate? Don't know. I think they played USC, didn't they? Who did they play? Idaho Vandals. November 12th, 2022 game. Does anybody remember? 22 game day. They played UC Davis. Now they're pretty good. I would definitely go to, if I was alumni, I would definitely go to that game. All right? Definitely. So maybe some of the parents went. So then this witness says approximately at 10:45 p.m., blank went to the Sigma Chi party. So whoever they were hanging out with, Emily went to the Sigma Chi party, but I thought she was asleep per the documentary, per the interviews, per Hunter, per everything. At approximately 10 to 10:30 p.m., she briefly observed Xana and Ethan for about 10 to 15 minutes. She observed Xana and Ethan on the upper floor of the lodge. She described them on the upper floor, looking down and observing the party. She recalled hearing a couple songs play when she lost track of Ethan and Xana. The Sigma Chi party ended at 1 a.m. After the party, Sigma Chi party, she went to the party, blank, blank, and the party until approximately 4 a.m. So there was a party going on in the area till 4 a.m. Where was this party? She described the blank, blank as being on the same road as Xana's apartment. Where was this other party going on till 4 a.m.? On the same road as Xana's apartment. When she left the apartment, she was walking and ran into one of her good friends, blank, blank, blank. She believed blank had been at Xana's apartment earlier that evening. Her interaction with blank occurred at the blank, blank when she was walking down from the apartments. Blank was talking to a group of people. She believed blank stayed at the blank, blank when she left. She'd been described in Snapchat videos, took at Xana's apartment earlier that evening. She provided a phone number who was going to provide blank blank a ride when she was back in Boise and she went home. Now, this is really important. This last sentence, I'm going to put it together for you. Blank added Xana and was close to the blank blank. She believed we should talk to her ex-boyfriend blank blank. He frequented Xana's apartment regularly. She did not know if he was at the apartment the night of the homicide. She provided his phone number. And who was Xana's ex-boyfriend? Who was her ex-boyfriend? He admitted to dating her. He admitted to dating her. I hope you guys all know it was Pete E. Pete. 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 Not summoning them to come here. I'm just saying that was a known fact that Xana and Pete, and there was other people, everybody wanted to date Xana, right? Everybody was interested in Xana. Xana was very free-spirited. Pistol Pete. And does anybody, we're not accusing, you can only be charged with a crime in in obviously the court of law. But does anybody know, did Pete play any sports? Did Pete play any sports? Anybody know? Anybody know? We know he was a farmer. Did he play any sports? We know that he's a rancher and farming. Did he play any sports in high school? I don't think he played any sports in college. Oh, he played football. No way. No way. Football. Holy moly. Holy freaking moly. Boy, this is all starting to make sense to me. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you. There was a big football game. People were Birdie, thank you very much for having WSU Kim on your show. We love the Hive. I love Birdie. I started early back with Birdie. And you know why I started doing what I do when I said clearly that this was my calling, it's my passion, it's my purpose. I'm going to do what I feel led to do. And that is to bring some integrity back to the internet. With truth, evidence, facts, not fiction, court documents, somebody who would dig into a case and tell you truth or no truth wherever the evidence leads. And if you all miss Birdie's live, I'm going to drop it. I'm always transparent. Shout out to Birdie. Shout out. What did the wedding of her daughter's friend. What did WSU Kim say?
Wedding she was just in was her sorority sister and was dating a football player who went to U of I. That's who she married. So she knew the kids because she would go back and forth between campuses to her boyfriends, right?
Yep.
So that's why. So her sorority sisters all got it. That message. That's the only reason she was even in on the Snapchats. She was with us. I mean, the whole night. There was nothing. Well, there was one thing I saw that I look back on all the time, and I have told the police and stuff that was questioning. We were sitting at, I think it's V Hall, and all the parents were. I had switched up with my husband, and he went with my son, and I went with my daughter because he wasn't 21. So we were sitting in V Hall, and this group of kids come in, not kids, but young adults that did not look like students. They looked like a pack of people who had ill intent. And I looked at my daughter and I said, "Who are they?" And she said, "Get up, let's go." Every one of these kids grabbed us and we all left.
Who was it?
I don't know. To this, I don't know. I called V Hall and I said, "Do you have the tape from that night?" And they didn't know if they still had it or not. And I called the police. I wound up actually calling the FBI. And then I have a cousin who is in social media and a special task force with that. So I reached out to my cousins and they instructed me what to do. And I'm buried. Like, people couldn't find me. When T-Rev doxed me, he actually doxed somebody that wasn't me. And she had no idea that he sent people out to my house. So my cousins kind of surrounded and shut people down. So I don't feel unsafe now, although for a time I did, because my daughter was chased through our neighborhood. We lived in a gated community, a lake community, and she was running through our neighborhood, which is typically very safe. We got a guard and everything. I don't know how they got in, but she was smart enough to remember what I taught her when running is to zigzag. If you feel like you're being followed, zigzag, jump fences, run, hide, duck, scream, knock on doors. Wow. She remembered that. And then she came in and she had a seizure, which is not major. She was fine. But the whole thing was that scared us. So then we left the area for a little while. We went back east with family and then sold our houses here and purchased new homes, new cars. I drive a car now that is like a machine. Like my husband can find me wherever I am, which makes me feel secure. And our kids' cars are the same way now too. So we've taken the protection, but we have the resources for that. A lot of people don't. And the first thing my cousins did was put eyes on Peyton when she was at school for her final semester. So they had eyes on her the whole time. So that's kind of how this all started.
Now, I don't know if you know, but she just slipped and said Peyton. And I don't mean to call her out, but they probably have moved on from this. But if you were watching Birdie in the last few weeks, WSU mom, Kim, she did call back in. And Birdie asked on the spot, "Who do you think did this?" And does anybody remember what her comment was? Does anybody remember what her comment was? She doesn't call him by name. She calls him by the football player. "I think the football player did that, allegedly," she said. Does anybody remember that? I have gone back and I have been looking for her call. And when she says, "I believe it was the football player." So I am still looking for that original.
Stairs. But these guys went straight down there to where the DJ was. So I know that he was. So at one point, somebody who, now, because it came off a T-Rev show, I don't know where I stand on this, but it kind of checks out. So Demetrius Robinson grew up about 25 minutes from where we live.
Did you mean to say football player or the football coach for
player? I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize. Did I say coach?
No.
My
You didn't
husband,
say coach, but you said player.
I
And people were
apologize.
wondering
I meant player. Yeah.
who was that?
I, you
Or
know,
you
I feel like he's been actually exonerated from any
okay. I
due
won't put you on the
inference.
spot for that then. I get
I
it.
just because he, my daughter was in their wedding, and I just feel like,
I got you. I'm respecting it. I get it when
yeah,
it comes to that because
I just want to respect them as adults. And if the police say otherwise, I will certainly go in there, stomp right in there, and tell them exactly everything. Right? But there's nothing that's alarming to me.
okay. Okay. I was just curious if it was somebody that maybe it's a common no name or who it might be, but I understand and I respect that.
Now, she just said that he was exonerated. I don't know how you could be exonerated unless they made a deal with him. They must have made a deal. I was shocked when it was Pistol Pete, and then I see all these bullet. Gosh, it just rattles and it boggles my mind.
And so I was there, and I love staying in Moscow. I used to run. I used to run past the food truck. The food truck is literally like a 3-minute walk to the King Roadhouse. And you have to remember that house's real address is Queen Road. Why did they change it?
Well, that's been a question too about the address, and I believe Steve G had even been quoted saying, the Queen's on King. Everybody knows that house
Right.
as a party
Right.
house.
Everybody.
Kim, there a couple questions came in. Did you mean to say football player or the football coach for
Player.
the
I'm
wedding?
sorry. Oh, I apologize. Did I say coach?
No.
My
You didn't
husband.
say coach, but you said player.
I
And people were
apologize.
wondering
I meant
who.
player.
So when I say it's reckoning time for the truth to come out. And we have been witnessing little truths here and there that sum up what we've been looking for.
Yeah.
Who was that?
I, I feel like he's been actually exonerated from any
Okay. I
due
won't put you on the
inference.
spot for that then. I get it.
Just because he, my daughter was in their wedding, and I just feel like,
I got you. I'm respecting it. I get it when
Yeah.
it comes to that because
I just want to respect them as adults. And if the police say otherwise, I will certainly go in there, stomp right in there, and tell them exactly everything. Right? But there's nothing that's alarming to me.
okay.
So we know that Pete was obviously played football in high school, I believe, allegedly. And he was a student at the University of Idaho. In the book Broken Plea, they come out and say Pistol Pete, which shocked everybody, which made me go down the rabbit hole to see if there was, in fact, gunshot evidence in the house. And I found plenty of it. Boy, did I find plenty. And obviously, he did put his education 2020 to 2024. But what I found interesting on the state's witness exhibits list, yes, folks, on the witness list was a name that was so interesting, and that was the defense witness list, phase 1, of a farmer. And I thought, why would this farmer be on the defense witness list? It's a pretty huge farm. It's a big farm. Does anybody know why a farmer would be listed as a defense witness list? Anyone? It's a pretty big farm out there. Was there maybe allegedly some illegal farming activities happening? I wouldn't put it past, and let me just say this as a disclaimer. There have been some farms in Texas that have been taken over by the cartel, folks, running business opportunities through there. And these farmers are at the mercy of what they're doing. People think the football player did it or somehow he was exonerated. It's really interesting to know that we have some of these little pieces of information that will put the whole puzzle together, right? I mean, how many of you have not listen, I mean, how many of you drop a 1 if you have listened to the 1112 balcony security camera? Drop a 1. I want to kind of get a feel for who knows that camera, like some of us. Who knows the 1112 audio? Now, I'm not saying you don't have to know it perfectly, right? I'm just asking how many of you have heard the camera audio? This is where it gets very interesting. Some people say that they've heard it, they've seen it. I have not seen a really good enhanced version. Not yet. I wish we could. But I will say, I've got a file I'm going to throw up on the screen real quick. And let's try to listen to this audio, because this is going to be really super important. I think the Linda Lane audio is about 10 minutes behind. I wanted to overlay this. Let me see if I've got this. 236. I've got a clip. Let's see if I can find it. I got a clip of the 236. Scroll up and read my stuff for real. It's odd. Okay, lovely me. Hold on. Oh, one of the weapons could have been a farm tool. Oh, wow, Lori. That's wild. What if an intruder in Ellie was looking for Kay memories card on phone, possibly why it was never well, they said the phone was under the bed and so was the vape. No, I am not in Birdie's Discord. I do not do Discord. EA, Emily Allant is a relative, posted about EA recently, I guess. And the photos were shared where EA standing in front of a body water looked like BF painting it. It was odd. Emily Allant standing in front of a body of water. Didn't Mama Tata say this a while back? I don't remember. Did she? Did she say anything about this? Because I've been looking through this witness list, just trying to put pieces in together, and now it sounds like what are the odds Bethany would make a painting and EA is celebrating at a similar place? No, I have not seen anything regarding. Now, I did share Bethany was back on social media. Now you're saying I blocked Emily Allant a long time ago on TikTok because she was following me and making weird comments and all kinds of crap. Let me see. I said she was in front of a body of water. I don't know anything about that. They were celebrating. Yes, we need a photo of that location. It popped up on my TikTok feed. Okay, let me go to my TikTok and unblock and let me go see. Hold on. I did not know of any new. I tell you guys, I really don't follow many people.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Let me see. Let me look her up. No, and now her mom started following me like 2 days ago. Let me unblock her. She was standing by a body of water. When? I've not seen any videos of her. No, I don't see any body of water. And I know I shared Bethany on the painting, so I haven't seen that. Crime Forensics did a job cleaning. True Crime Forensics. Okay. Let me go over there. On YouTube? Let me see if we can get this audio. Let me see what time. What time? I don't think he did the time I wanted. I really don't. He did 2:27. Okay, let's see. Hold on. It's not. Yeah, that audio doesn't. He does a lot of narration in that audio. I asked for an audio guy, an audio engineer that I know to clean up the audio, and I'm still waiting for it to come back. So let me use the audio that I do have, and let me see if I can at least. Let me see if I can edit this one into my StreamYard real quick. Hold on. No, it's not done processing. Shoot, I thought it would be done in time. Let me pull this audio that I have. Let's listen. Notice whose phone is in the vehicle. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to share a lot tomorrow, so just sit tight. Yeah, she graduated. Something wrong? Well, her fingerprints and blood on the sliding glass door. Come on, guys. They couldn't rule her out. You've got to look at the evidence. But the photo where she's standing looked like I have not seen it. How do I send it? You can send it to Phoenix Investigates at proton.me while I'm on the stream. If I get it, I will go ahead and share it. Yeah, it's Karen. Oh, it's on Karen. Okay, hold on a minute. Yeah, because she popped up the other day and I'm like, oh my God. How did her mom pop up on my FYP? She's had like 3 different accounts. Let me unblock her. Main character moments, graduated, big week. Oh. Oh, wow. Okay, I got a picture now. I got 3. Hold on. Okay, I got the pictures. Let me put them up for you. Now, you can say that it looks similar, but if you travel around Idaho, a lot of things look similar, okay? So I don't know where this could be. We could always do a reverse search. We could try to find some more information, but they all look the same. You show me a lake picture, I'm going to show you 3 that look all the same. Now, let me see if I can get this real quick and we'll show this before I get into the next one. She's the one who posted it on TikTok. Got it. Okay, here it is. Now let's see. So this is the picture that she's talking about. This is one of the pictures. And we can do a little bit of digging on this because it could be. I mean, that looks like a little place in Boise that I've been to. If she's working outside on the bench or in Meridian, that looks familiar to me in the background. Let's see what this one is. It looks like the same park. That's a boat launch. So if I would say this looks like down in Boise or Meridian, hold on. And I'll show you how we do it. Let's see if I find something that matches it. It looks like Boise. Now remember, rumors don't fly here. We're going off facts and evidence. And if I can show you that this is a bridge probably on the Greenbelt in Boise or a park down by Meridian Village, then I mean, she's not a main character. She's the main joke. I think it is Catherine Albertson's park. You might be right. It looks like the green belt back there. And if you're from the area, you know. If you know, you know. Let's just see. It might be Catherine Albertson's park. It looks like the green belt over there, though. It does. It really does. That little bridge in the background where you cross and you go to concerts all the time. If you know, you know. They have a lot of evidence. I mean, a lot of concerts, a lot of country shows, balloon fest, all kinds of stuff. It is. It's Catherine Albertson's park. I believe it is. Yep. Thank you, Bros. What is that? Bree Sully, 23. Put it next to the painting image, show up on the locations, maybe. I think she looks like London's Notebook. No rumors. I just found it odd. Yeah, it could be definitely odd, but let's look at the 2:30 video. Let's do this. Let's look at 2:27. Car pulls in. I don't know why I'm getting the. Why are we getting this? Here it is. I went back to 2:25. Now, clearly, there is some type of commotion going on. This was 2:25. This was 2:25, right before JD gets this call, Jack Decor. And what I found odd is this is when, not do you hear one scream, 10 minutes later, you hear another one. So I don't know who discovered what, but I'm assuming that Kaylee is the one. I'm assuming, I'm making an assumption, I'm making a speculation that Kaylee was the one that found what was going on. And this car pulls in at 2:26:07. And I'm going to show you the Linda Lane footage. Now, I had to think back, where have I heard this car before? I think that's Molly delivering over to Queen Road. Now, if you go back and you look at the Linda Lane archives, that would mean that if this is in fact Molly delivering to the 500 Queen Road, like she said earlier in her statement, she would have already left the area when the order was placed at 2:15, because it takes approximately 10 minutes to get to that area from Jack in the Box in Pullman. I've thought this was her vehicle because it sounds so familiar. Not once, but twice. But listen to the Linda Lane footage. I went back at 2 a.m. all the way back to see when this car pulls up. And it is not at the same time. That's why I think this footage is about 10 minutes off. So let me show you when I hear this car pull in at Linda Lane. I think it's around 2:36. Hold on, let me find it again. It's such a distinct, loud noise. And it is an older Subaru. It's either off 10 minutes in some areas or 1 minute in others. And you can hear the door shut. Let me go and grab it for you so you can hear it. This is the Linda Lane. And this is on Linda Lane Archives. You're going to have to turn it up loud. It's about a minute and a couple seconds off. And of course, it glitches just at that time. Now I'm going to fast forward it to the 10-minute mark. Hold on. 227 to 237. This is when you start hearing some noise back over here. You hear the car door shut. You hear the noise. Okay, keep that 237 on Linda Lane. And then we're going to go back over to 226. The car just went back that way. I think it's 10 minutes off on the Linda Lane. And didn't someone say they could hear I left the car running? Now, I don't know if it's this time that someone's delivering something. I left the car running. Now, no matter what is going on with this audio, because here's where it gets tricky. Audio's tricky, extremely tricky. The human brain is a pattern recognizing machine. I'm just going to say this. Sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's dangerous, but you cannot deny That is A, not a party scream. I know people are trying to tell you those are party screams. Not at 2 something in the morning. That is not a party scream. I'll say it till the cows come home, till I'm blue in the face. That is not a party scream. Your brain is hardwired to hear what you're supposed to hear. Some people say, oh, I heard this, I heard this. That is not a party scream. That is someone trying to convince you that's a party scream to brainwash you. Now, sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's dangerous. There's actually a phenomenon called, have you ever heard of audio pareidolia? Have you guys ever heard of this before? I'm going to tell you what it is. All right. It's the voices in your head have rational, it's actually, you can relate to something. Men scream like that when they're in excruciating pain. Okay. Your mind is telling you to hear based on what you hear. It's a phenomenon of hearing sounds that are not really there. Okay? This is real, guys. Such as voices or music based on random background noises. And people actually have this problem. I can agree with 100% of you that this is a scream. It is a real scream. Now, if this is not a real scream, has somebody embedded this scream in there to make us believe there was a scream? I don't know, because like I said, I have not seen the official audio released. I have not seen an email saying here is the audio of the body of the video cam, yada yada yada. I have not seen any proof that these audios are real. Okay? How am I still number 1 in the chat? I've been lying here out on my tree. Too many beers. It sounded like a horrific girl scream. Now, you can actually take the audio to see if you can hear. You can actually take an audio test to see if you hear what's really being sounded versus someone out there who hears differently. Hard to explain. I'm good with audio, confident about that. Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to explain this to you. I scream like that on Monday mornings before going to work. And a lot can be subjected. Absolutely. Now, it's an actual perception. It's a phenomenon where the brain misinterprets ambiguous and meaningless audio stimulatory. Now, if you've never heard about this, look into it. And manipulating the audio may be what someone did. If you all want real facts, go check out Rolomoto. How can that be done? They can insert it anywhere. I definitely heard the scream. I would be concerned and call the cops right away. Absolutely, but yet we don't see anybody calling the cops, right? We don't see anything on the blotter being called in except for a 301 call. Whoever released this, I would like facts of where you got this audio from, please. Stand up. Will the real person who got this audio and not leaked audio, please stand up and show us the facts that you got this from Moscow Police Department. There is another scream just like this one if you listen to the whole audio for about 15 minutes. Okay, Bo Cleveland. Pardon me, Phoenix. Another content creator has found that exact same scream on one of the frat members' social media. Boy, I would love to know who that is. Please. Phoenix investigates at proton.me. My email's open. Send it to me. I'm still waiting for the other person that was going to send me something, but I did get the pictures up. So if that is a scream, I've always felt it is someone walking into a horrific scream. Mind you, that one just happened at 2:27, but in a little bit longer, if you watch the video longer, there is another one. And it sounds like someone is trying to subdue someone. And notice the Subaru that dropped off the food is now leaving. Listen to the sound of this car. That must have been Molly door dashing. Sounds good, Bo. Now, it sounds to me like someone has been quieted somehow, some way, after shocking things are taking place inside the house, and also muffled. Either they audio muffled this so we wouldn't hear what was really going on, and also the background noises of maybe, I don't know, it sounds like somebody's rummaging through something. Now, keep in mind, folks, this was what the witness said to the ISP, the Idaho State Police. She said that there was a text screenshot. Somebody has this in writing. The text screenshot was describing two of the other roommates locking their doors because they heard someone rummaging around. Doesn't it sound like someone's rummaging around in this audio? Or the audio could have been manipulated to sound like someone was rummaging around. So this camera is on the balcony. It's a screw-in Homey Pro, something like that, Homey Pro camera on this balcony facing King Road, but it's about 50 feet away. And I'll use my little handy dandy map. Where is it at? Let me see. I've got a map that shows this on. Let me see if I still have that map. That was very helpful. Let me see. Where you at? Here it is. This map will give you an idea of the pink house is 1122. The blue house right here is where the camera is on the balcony. So that's about 50 feet away. So the pink house is 1122. The blue house is the security cam that we are listening in on. Hopefully that helps. Now, there were allegedly some other cameras around this road. They have not divulged that information. But if anybody was leaving Queen Road, they could exit anywhere where all these blue arrows are for an entry point. Run down in between the Whites and the other little houses that go down to Taylor and then across to the Banfield where you see people running around this time frame. You can go all the way down in between the two buildings that are called the Whites to the Banfield, run that way, run down Queen, run down into Linda Lane Footage Carport area, all the way off to Taylor, all the way to Linda Lane. I mean, you can even go back up the driveway into Walenta Road to the other houses on the back of the hillside. So that's a great visual. If you want to take a screenshot of that, then you'll understand. The 1330 and the 1320 are both Linda Lane area cameras in the purple. And that's what those video cams caught on the other side. But obviously, this blue house right here does have a camera that's about 50 feet away. And we know for a fact they had got some good sounds. There's no way you can tell me that it was quiet. So let's go back to listen to this because you're going to hear another similar scream. Now, I don't know if it's the same individual screaming or they have changed the audio, but it's Detective Mallory crunching Doritos. That's a good one. We're going to go back. We're going to go back and listen to the rest of this because there is another scream similar to this one. I agree, Jessica. A lot of rummaging or movement. They're looking for something. Now, keep in mind, I have already shown you where the phone rings, and we speculate that it might be JD's. But keep in mind, during this whole entire time, from 2:26 to 2:43 is that 17-minute alleged phone call. Make sure you listen close. If you have headphones, here's your warning. Did you guys catch that? Did you see what happened to the clock? Right-hand corner, pay close attention to what happened to the clock. Dang it. I clicked the wrong button. Let me go back. Let me go way back. Was it 34? I put hold on a minute. I went too far. Here it is. Watch the clock. They just erased 11 seconds. I believe it's 11 seconds. Let me go back one more time to verify that. I think it was about 11 seconds they erased. Hold on. Let me see if I can go back just a little bit more. Dang it. 34. Here it is. 34:55. Watch this. "11 seconds erased." What happened in those 11 seconds on this audio that they needed to fast forward? And why was all the other audio muffled? Sounds like it's in a underwater tank. Now watch the clock, because JD's 17-minute phone call allegedly at 2:26 to 2:43. This is the reckoning time. Was that, "Come on over here, Murphy"? Is that what was said? Dang it, I keep fast forwarding it too far. Hold on. I went too far, didn't I? Hold on. I need to get it back 43. There's the someone screaming, "Wait, help!" Now we know if this time is correct on the balcony, we know that right now between these times, Kaylee, or I should say Kay, is desperately trying to call Jack. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, 6 times. And then Maddie tries to call right after Kaylee. And then Kaylee tries to call him 2 more times. And her calls stop at 2:53. So let's listen until 2:53. And I'm going to close with what I'm going to lead into tomorrow that is going to be a very graphic members only live stream. I've given you 24 hours advance notice. I'm going to make a post. I want everybody to know the content I'm going to show tomorrow is very extremely graphic. I'm not going to show it publicly. I'm only going to show it in a members only stream. And remember, some people will hear, help me. Others hear Ethan. Others hear, leave me alone. Others hear nothing. Same audio, different brains, different expectations, different interpretations. I mean, would you trust enhanced audio? Yes or no? Just a general question. Would you trust enhanced audio? Because what if the audio was mostly normal that we're hearing? We know that perhaps somebody did come in for the statement that the witness said that there was a text that said the two victims, witnesses downstairs were locked in the spare bedroom pretty much. There was no way, absolutely no way, that Dylan's and Bethany's rooms, there's no way they were in there. I think we all can agree to that. They were rummaged. And the witness said it was being rummaged. They had a text screenshot. I would not, Wicca, good to see you, honey. I would not trust enhanced audio too much, not for the truth, but for basic analysis. Sure. I agree. Maddie and Kaylee quit using their phone before 3. And I've shown you Maddie's room. Maddie's phone was next to her nightstand. If Kaylee was in there trying to use both phones, the phone was left on the nightstand. All right. Oh, Demoose, thanks for becoming a member. Let's finish with this. I know that people are talking about cars, doors, music, laughter, drunk students. After all, it is a college neighborhood. Everyone surrounding on the backside are professional homeowners. College professors live behind there, believe me. And this is not some remote cabin in the woods. It's not an abandoned farmhouse. It's a standard college neighborhood where in this area, most of these houses are rented out room by college students. And some people have observed and argued what the sounds may or may not be. Some people have enhanced the audio. But honestly, I've never seen the proof that this audio is genuine, ever. And if this audio is genuine, redacted, released by the police department, let us see who released this. People can say, oh, I cleaned up the audio, I enhanced the voices, I removed the background, I isolated the conversation. But here's the problem. Every single enhancement changes data. Every filter makes choices. Every algorithm decides, keep this, remove that, boost this, reduce that. Sometimes enhancement reveals information, and sometimes it creates new information. There's a huge, big difference. The owner of this camera was remotely monitoring the camera at the time the police logged in. He's the one that contacted them and said, hey, you need to get this information. There's a vehicle on here that needs to be looked at. Yes, it's in the documents. People have claimed to hear names and arguments and screams and warnings and conversations, confessions, entire stories on 4chan. Some people say hear Xana, Ethan, completely different words. Here's the problem. Most of these interpretations are not universally heard. Not everybody hears it. We don't all hear the same thing, and that's not evidence. That's psychology, folks. So the timeline really fascinates me, and we're listening to this audio because of JD's 2:36 call. When I heard the phone ring in the background, I wondered, was that JD's phone? Did someone have JD's phone? That's a possibility too. People said he was asleep. He doesn't even remember touching the phone. And then he asked the police in the interviews, do you have audio for that? Do you have audio for that 17-minute call? Which made me think maybe he didn't even know his phone was taken. Think about that for a second, folks. Now, remember, during this last couple of minutes, it was said that Kaylee was trying to call JD. And exactly at this time, this is when Maddie begins to try to call JD. Now it sounds like someone started their car. Maybe a remote start. Now, keep in mind, I've said already before, this must be Molly coming back in with DoorDash. This would be the right timing to hear the same car we just heard a little while ago. Same exact muffler. It would line up. Subaru. She said there were 3 other deliveries. People start leaving. Music starts playing. Another scream. The house is behind. So this house right here is Queen Road in the pink. That's where the sounds may be coming from. The blue house is the one that has the camera that faces the road where you see cars come in. It's about 50 feet away. So hopefully that gives you some direction. Yeah, Caleb, ask a question. And then we'll finish listening to this for about 2 minutes. And remember, what if we flip the script? I always examine both sides. What if there's something there in this audio? What if some of these sounds are meaningful? And what if some of these sounds have never been properly explained? That is possible. Absolutely. We always should remain open minded because open minded does not mean gullible, and skeptical does not mean closed minded. You can be both. You can say, I don't know. And that may be the most honest answer in this entire case. I don't know. Now, if the witness is true and factual that I showed you on that ISP document, that the two victims, the two survivors, are locked in the spare bedroom, if they are locked in that spare bedroom right now at 2:51, Dylan made a contact. Now, if this time is accurate on the balcony security camera, that is the last time that Maddie calls Bethany and Bethany doesn't answer. And that is the last call that Maddie tries to call on Kaylee tries to call on Maddie's phone, I believe. And no one answers. And it makes you think, what happened at that moment on this audio? And here's the biggest question that keeps me up at night. If this audio truly contained a smoking gun, no pun intended, would the investigators already know? Probably. If there were clear, identifiable voices, they would know, like Caleb's asked. A clear, identifiable scream, like somebody asked, I wonder if the parents know if this is their child. And a clear, identifiable statement. Would it still be debated years later? Or would it have become central evidence? Of course they wouldn't leak it out. Of course they wouldn't release it so we could hear. Because then it negates the narrative we were streamlined to believe that Brian Koberger is guilty. Which, in case, if you didn't know, he's factually innocent. No DNA in his office, in his car, in his apartment, in the Pennsylvania home, nothing. Wild case. And if you believe there's something important in the audio, sure, maybe they left us some breadcrumbs. Maybe there's something important but very unclear. Sure, very unclear. Maybe there's a major clue that nobody understands yet. That's possible. But nesters, this is where your eagle's eyes matter. Instead of saying, what do I hear? Ask, what can I verify? Can I verify the timestamp, the source, the chain of custody, the original file, or whether enhancement was implied, or obviously was the audio edited? Because that's where the real investigation starts, not with assumptions, but with verification. And here's my final thoughts on this audio. The truth is, the audio has become almost, if you know what this is, a Rorschach test. People hear what they expect. They hear what they fear. They hear what they hope. And maybe the biggest lesson is the IDAHO4 case has taught all of us something. Evidence is not always simple. Audio is not clear, and certainly it can be dangerous. The most strongest position may be, I hear something, not, I know exactly what that is. That's a very different statement, and one that the investigator should always remember, because silence is not proof. Noise is not proof. Enhancement is not proof. Interpretation is not proof. Only evidence is real evidence. And until we know more, the audio remains one of the biggest mysteries surrounding the IDAHO4 case. What did you hear in the audio? What do you think is real? What do you think is imagination? Drop your thoughts in the chat. Bring your eagle eyes, your critical thinking, bring your questions, because when we question, we find truth. And this community shows up for one reason, that is to find the truth. We're going to challenge all the narratives and the BS they fed us. We're going to demand clarity. I'm still asking for FOIAs in public information. We're not going to stop asking questions. I'm going to leave you with this audio and video, and I want you to tell me what you think of this. I know many of you are going to be like, oh, no, not again. This is new. Here we go. Let me go to this one. I've recorded it twice, so hold on. I got to get to the beginning. Here we go.
Children, things that don't even matter, are under a microscope for the whole world to see. She was murdered in the most horrific way by this person, and to see people call our family liars, that we're lying and we're covering up the truth. To see these people protect the person that did this. It's just, you know, you think it can't get any worse, and then you wake up and you read this kind of shit and you're like, wow, it can.
When you go through something like this, it impacts you in so many different ways that you see the person who does this and they have all these rights and you don't have really any rights, and your child was murdered. They just take your daughter and her precious moments and then they spew it across like it's like a horror movie.
It's just been tremendously hard having your life flipped upside down, and then everything about your whole entire life, including your other children, things that don't even matter, are under a microscope for the whole world to see.
And they are, because we still don't have clarity. We're still trying to verify some of these facts, especially this one. And when you see this, you can't unsee it. And here's what I'm going to say. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep looking for the pieces that don't quite fit. Every single one of us has the right to ask questions. Tomorrow, member only stream, very sensitive content, very sensitive. I'll see you tomorrow. Be well.
Yeah, you see it? It's all coming down. Let's go. The world wakes up, a brand new stage, new promise written on the page. We saw the cracks, turned a new age, tore up the script, got out the cage. Dig deep, they can't be stopped. A solid truth that can't be topped. For every voice they try to drop, we rise up higher from the crowd.
just the beginning.